Guys, this is a very important video, my friend, so pay attention. What is up, Mr. P, back with another video. NIO is about to release their Q1 2021 earnings, and here is what to expect. Now, of course, I don't know what the earnings are. However, I'm going to share with you guys what I see on the ground. All right, that's when I'm visiting NIO houses, NIO stores, what I see also within the NIO app, different chat groups, etc., and what NIO is doing for their NIO owners, etc. And hopefully this will give you a better picture of how healthy NIO is and what NIO is doing. All right, so this is everything that I'm seeing, and I'm so excited to share with you guys. First of all, let's talk about revenues. All right, there's obviously going to be record quarterly revenues, right? We got record quarterly deliveries. We're going to see record quarterly revenues. That's a done deal. Now, one big important thing to pay attention to is the other revenue section. Now, that's been growing quarter over quarter. And what that other revenue section means, it's the money that they earn from other stuff. For example, NIO Life, NIO Merch, NIO Foods. All right? And that, my friend, it's been selling like hotcakes within the NIO app. They've launched a ton of new NIO branded clothing that's been selling out like crazy. They've launched a lot of different snacks and food items that are really expensive. All right, they're really expensive, but they all sell out. Unfortunately, people don't really put a lot of emphasis and weight into this value, but it's becoming NIO's main secondary source of revenue. Once you buy a NIO, you've become part of the community. You can buy their clothing, the merch, jackets, all sorts of cups and pots and all sorts of stuff, snacks, coats, you name it. They have it all. NIO owners like me will proudly spend a lot of money on these kind of stuff. So this is a big area to look out for. Demand for the vehicles is awesome. It's great. Every time I go past a NIO house or a NIO store, there's a lot of people inside, especially at NIO houses. There's people in those NIO houses. They're checking out the car. They're speccing the car. They're seeing people swap the battery, and they get excited as well. They look at it. They're like, oh man, I've never seen anything this cool before. Especially at the NIO house in Beijing at Zhongguancun. There's a battery swap station placed right in front of it, you know. And so NIO owners, they go in for a swap, and you know, you got these prospective customers, they're just looking like, wow, that is just amazing. So they're picking the colors and all that kind of stuff, and then you got the NIO sales rep talking to them, and they're selecting all sorts of specs for their NIO. So the demand for NIO is great. All right, there's a lot of demand for NIO. And also within chat groups, there's a special chat group for people that placed deposit for the EC6. I'm in that chat group, and there's a lot of people that just enter that chat group, and you can tell if someone's a NIO owner or not. So if you're not a NIO owner, next to your little icon, you don't have anything. All right. If you're a verified NIO owner, if you're a NIO owner like me, what you have is a dark blue V. All right. That just means you're a verified NIO owner. If you placed a deposit, you have a light V. All right. So these are people that placed their deposit but haven't taken delivery of their car yet. So there's a lot of people inside those chat groups, and they're really excited to take delivery of their NIO, which is really nice. That's awesome. Now let's talk about expenses. All right, expenses. What do I expect from the expenses side? Now the expenses are a big mystery, but I'm seeing several moves that NIO is pulling off that may indicate that expenses are going to also make new highs. We're going to see really high expenses Q1 of 2021. And the reason for that is, and there are several reasons for that. First of all, they've been aggressively pushing out WeChat ads. Now WeChat is sort of like WhatsApp, pretty much. And they've been running ads on WeChat showcasing and promoting $0 down program financing NIOs, which is really cool and dandy. XPENG and Li Auto have also been pushing that WeChat ads. Now before they couldn't do this, all right, let's rewind the clock maybe a year or two. They couldn't do this, but recently, last year, they raised a ton of money, so they got a lot of money in their pockets. And since XPENG's doing it, then why not, man? Why not NIO? So NIO's also doing WeChat ads. That is going to cost quite a bit of money. And then on top of that, they've been aggressively building out swap stations. All right, there's been just a ton of swap stations deployed within Q1 of 2021. You see one swap station come online like every 2 or 3 days within the whole entire country. Of course, they've been aggressively building infrastructure like crazy, which is good and bad. That's good because you see they're growing, but bad because it's going to cost a lot of money, and also because swapping is free. People get BAS and free swapping confused because CNBC made that video a while ago. I'll say it right here, CNBC is wrong. BAS has nothing to do with swapping. People think that BAS payment is for monthly swapping fees. No, that's different. BAS payment is for renting the battery, which lowers your purchasing cost of your vehicle when you buy your NIO up front. All right, it has nothing to do with swapping. Every NIO owner, regardless of if you rented the battery or bought the battery up front, you get at least 6 free swaps a month. And NIO owners that place their deposit before October, they get unlimited free swaps. So basically, people are swapping for free. Don't expect NIO to generate any sort of income from swapping, and if they do, it's not going to be significant. All right, because swapping right now is way too expensive. If they charge money for swapping, the fees is way too expensive, and people will just go and charge. Now, on to charging. This is another big expense for NIO, because in Q1 they've started offering free charging. Remember my supercharger video? NIO supercharger video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I went to a NIO supercharger to see what it's all about. They got a really cool design. Definitely go check out that video. But in that video, the charging was free. I didn't pay anything. All right, all I paid was the parking fee for the parking lot, which doesn't actually go to NIO. The reason behind that was because the line for battery swapping has been way too long, and that caused a lot of NIO owners to become unhappy. Like, hey, come on, I have free swapping, but then I can't swap a battery because everybody's waiting in line. There's too many NIO owners, not enough swap stations. So while they were building out these swap stations, to alleviate the demand on the swap stations, they offered free charging, which might sound dumb. All right, it sounds dumb, but it's actually cheaper for NIO to offer someone free charging than to let them go and swap the battery. Let that sink in. All right, let me repeat that. For example, my NIO's low on battery. All right, if I went to swap the battery at a swap station, it would cost NIO more money than if NIO paid for a free charge for me. It is what it is. Also, on the topic of expenses, they've been aggressively recruiting a lot of people. Now, I go to NIO houses and there are a ton of staff there. There's like a ton of staff there, man. There's way too many staff. It's almost like the staff to customer ratio is like 2 to 1. 2 staff per customer. And I talked to the NIO swap dude, the technician that works at the battery swap station right across from the NIO house. And he told me, yeah, there's a lot of NIO fellows, which is the NIO sales rep. They've also been building out more NIO spaces at different parts of the country to expand their reach, which is really nice. Now, that's obviously going to cost money as well, but this is all expansion cost, all right, which is good. Now, let's talk about supply for NIO, because this is what I'm most worried about, supply. And this is something that you got to pay attention to when William Lee does the earnings call and his guidance towards supply, because one really interesting thing that he did mention at the Shanghai Auto Show was that he told a reporter that NIO will be significantly impacted in Q2 by the chip shortage. This is what he said, all right? Not me. This is what he said. That just like rings a bell. Like, what? How much is significantly? How much is that? So look forward in the earnings call. I hope NIO gives a clear picture how big the impact of the chip shortage is. Now, the chip shortage is also very important because the end of March they had a 5-day production halt, and that will also impact deliveries in April. Now, why April and not March? Because it takes about 2 weeks from vehicle identification number to NIO owner. So it took me, my NIO, 17 days from VIN number to delivery. So people taking delivery of their NIO at the end of March actually had their NIO built more towards the mid-March. All right, so the production halt at the end of March will impact the deliveries at the start of April or mid-April. All right, so that's something to keep in mind. On the technical side, we are seeing NIO is struggling to break above 43, which also coincidentally is the 50-day moving average right now. So if we want to see NIO go higher, we got to break that convincingly and hold that breakout. If not, we are still in a downtrend, my friend. Leave a comment. Do you have any other questions you want to ask? There's this one video I did where I interviewed NIO management and how they're trying to save costs, and that's a really good video, so go watch that video.